man's unworthiest creation. What led it back to us? Does a hidden hand guide it? Birthing us in violence and blood? Ending us in fear? Alone? Until you've pulled the trigger on an enemy, you're not ready for war. You're only ready to die.
As the official launch for Battlefield 5 is approaching, it's time to take a closer look at it. The Battlefield franchise has been a long-time favorite of mine when it comes to first-person shooters. I've been looking forward to playing the newest installment in the series, and therefore I figured, why not supply you guys with some nice-to-know facts about the newest Battlefield.
Between first and last.
Battlefield 5 is a fast-paced military shooter with large maps and even larger battles. The theme of the newest release is, like Battlefield 1, inspired from actual wars. This time, it's the Second World War. The Battlefield team has recreated famous locations and cities from the war, such as northern France, Greece, Africa, and the totally destroyed city of Rotterdam. On that note, let's kick off the next video in this series. Nice to know. Battlefield 5 Edition. Number 5. Return to World War II. For those of you who haven't been doing a lot of reading about Battlefield 5, this time the game takes place in a familiar setting. They've returned the series to the World War II era again for the first time since the very first game in the series back in 2002. And now the action unfolds in Europe and Northern Africa and depicts famous battles and cities from the war. Number 4. General Gunplay and RBD. The entire series of Battlefield games has been a playground for the developers. A playground to test out mechanics, graphics, and environments. In Battlefield 5, they've changed a bit compared to the previous releases by removing the so-called RBD. What is RBD, you may ask? RBD stands for Random Bullet Deviation. In everyday language, this translates to where you aim is where you'll shoot, as EA states on the official Battlefield website. In other words, they've removed bullet drop, where you in previous Battlefield titles would have had to adjust your aim accordingly to the target far away. Now you just point and shoot. It's that easy. They've also brought back bullet penetration to the larger weapons in the game. So if you're wielding an LMG, stationary weapon, or something similar, you can now take down covers, fences, and walls by firing a hail of bullets at it, and at the meantime take down who or whatever hides behind it. Number 3. Fortifications. Ever since Battlefield 3, DICE and the developers have done a lot to make the gameplay, and more specifically the environment in their war simulator, more and more realistic and versatile. In Battlefield 3, they introduced their big game-altering events, such as the falling skyscraper in the Shanghai map. They continued on with this mass destruction in Battlefield 4 and then 1, and now they've added something new to the show: Fortifications. Fortifications, like the game-altering events, changes the game in small, subtle ways. You can now build different types of military assets, such as foxholes, sandbags, barbed wire, tank stoppers, and much more. You can even reinforce buildings that have been totally destroyed. Fortifications make for a much more tactical gameplay, where you and your squad will actually have to sometimes stay behind to rebuild fortifications and defenses before you move on to the next objective. Number 2. Squad play and revive system. In Battlefield 5, they've made squad play even more important than earlier games. They've made it possible for squad mates to revive each other even though no one has the medic class, simply by a pat on the shoulder as shown in the video. By doing this, the Battlefield developers are forcing a more team-oriented playstyle compared to the run-and-gun style that Battlefield 4 and 1 had. They've also made it much more attractive to work together in your squad by adding the so-called squad reinforcements. These reinforcements are tactical advantages your team earns by completing orders during the round. If your squad have accumulated enough points, you can then spend them on supply drops with ammo and health, an aerial attack from a V1 rocket to bring mayhem to the battlefield, tanks with flamethrowers on the side, smoke screens so you and your teammates can run for cover or execute the perfect flanking maneuver. Number 1. Single player campaign. Like Battlefield 3, 4, and 1, this new installment also has a single player campaign. They're following a trend that Telltale Games made really popular with the Walking Dead series, and I'm of course talking about episodic stories. 3 episodes will be available at launch. The first episode, Under No Flag, depicts the story of Billy Bridger. He's a convicted bank robber and explosives expert who is conscripted into the Special Boat Service to take part in Operation Albumen. This was the name given to British commando raids in June of 1942 on German airfields in the Axis-occupied Greek island of Crete. The second episode is Tirailleur, which is French and means infantryman. This episode puts you in the shoes of a Senegalese infantry soldier during the famous Operation Dragoon. This operation name was the code for the Allied invasion of southern France on the 15th of August in 1944. The third episode is Nordlys, which translates to Northern Light and takes place in Norway. The story shows the point of view of a Norwegian resistance fighter who takes part in the sabotage of the German nuclear program. A fourth episode will be released later under the name The Last Tiger. This concludes the Nice to Know Battlefield 5 edition, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, like and comment down below if you have any remarks, questions, or ideas for future episodes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, Ruth.